For a long time, the phrase "Made in America" felt more like a label than a strategy. It was something companies used for branding, for nostalgia, or for a specific type of customer who valued domestic production. But in today's economy, that label is turning into something much bigger. It's becoming a core business decision, one that's reshaping industries, supply chains, and even global competition. Because right now, Made in America isn't just about where something is produced. It's about risk, control, speed, and survival. To understand why this shift is happening, you have to look at how dramatically the global business environment has changed. For decades, companies followed a simple formula: produce goods wherever it was cheapest. That meant outsourcing manufacturing to countries with lower labor costs, building long supply chains, and focusing heavily on efficiency. It worked extremely well for a long time. Products got cheaper, companies increased their margins, and global trade expanded rapidly. But that model depended on one key assumption: that the world would remain stable, and that assumption has been challenged. Over the past few years, businesses have faced a series of disruptions that expose just how fragile global supply chains can be. Shipping delays, factory shutdowns, geopolitical tensions, and sudden policy changes all created a new reality. Companies realize something important: when your production is thousands of miles away, you don't have control, and when you don't have control, you have risk. This is where the shift toward Made in America really begins. It's not just about patriotism or branding, it's about reducing dependency. By bringing production closer to home, companies can reduce their exposure to global disruptions. They can avoid long shipping times, minimize the impact of international conflicts, and gain more direct oversight of their operations. In other words, they're trading a little bit of cost savings for a lot more certainty. And in today's environment, certainty has become incredibly valuable. Another major reason behind this shift is speed. Consumer expectations have changed. People want products faster than ever, and businesses are under pressure to deliver quickly. Long global supply chains make that difficult. When production is overseas, delays are almost inevitable. Shipping takes weeks, sometimes months, and any disruption along the way can create even bigger delays. But when products are made domestically, companies can respond much faster. They can adjust production in real time, restock inventory quickly, and react to changing demand without waiting for shipments to arrive from across the world. This speed advantage is becoming a major competitive edge. And then there's the cost equation, which is also changing. At first glance, producing goods in the United States is more expensive. Labor costs are higher, regulations can be stricter, and operational expenses tend to be greater, but that's only part of the story. When companies factor in shipping costs, tariffs, delays, inventory risks, and lost sales due to stockouts, the cost gap starts to shrink. In some cases, producing locally is no longer significantly more expensive, and in certain situations, it can actually be more efficient overall. Especially when automation enters the picture, technology is playing a huge role in making domestic production more viable. Advanced robotics, AI-driven manufacturing, and highly automated facilities are reducing the need for large labor forces. This means companies can produce goods in the U.S. with fewer workers, higher precision, and greater consistency. So while labor costs are higher, the total cost of production is becoming more competitive. That's a big shift. Another key factor driving this trend is government policy. Governments are increasingly focused on strengthening domestic industries, especially in critical sectors like semiconductors, energy, and advanced manufacturing. Incentives, subsidies, and policy changes are encouraging companies to invest in local production. This creates a financial and strategic push toward bringing manufacturing back home. But it's not just about economics, it's also about security. Recent events have shown how dependent many countries are on foreign supply chains for essential goods. From technology components to medical supplies, reliance on overseas production has become a concern. As a result, there's a growing emphasis on building domestic capacity to ensure that critical products can be produced locally when needed. This adds another layer to the Made in America movement. It's not just a business decision, it's a strategic one. And then there's the consumer side. Consumers are becoming more aware of where products come from and how they're made. There's increasing interest in supporting local industries, ensuring ethical production, and reducing environmental impact. While price still matters, many customers are willing to pay a premium for products that are made domestically, especially if they believe it supports quality, sustainability, or local jobs. This creates an opportunity for companies to differentiate themselves. Made in America is no longer just a label, it's a signal of quality, reliability, and in many cases, trust. But despite all these advantages, this shift isn't simple. Bringing production back to the U.S. requires significant investment. Companies need to build or upgrade facilities, hire skilled workers, and develop new supply networks. And there's another challenge: talent. Manufacturing today isn't what it used to be. It requires specialized skills, technical knowledge, and the ability to work with advanced systems. Finding and training the right workforce is a major hurdle for many companies looking to expand domestic production. There's also the question of scale. Global supply chains were built over decades, and they're incredibly efficient at large-scale production. Rebuilding that capacity domestically takes time, but despite these challenges, the direction is clear. Companies aren't abandoning global supply chains entirely, but they are rebalancing them. Instead of relying heavily on overseas production, they're creating a hybrid model. Some production remains global, while critical operations are brought closer to home. This approach gives them the best of both worlds: cost efficiency and resilience. And that's really what this shift is all about. It's not about replacing globalization, it's about redefining it. The world is moving from a model of extreme efficiency to one of balanced resilience, and Made in America is becoming a key part of that balance. It represents control in an uncertain world. It represents speed in a fast-moving market, and it represents stability in a system that has proven to be fragile. So when you see more products labeled Made in America, it's not just a marketing choice. It's a reflection of a deeper change happening across the entire business landscape. A change in how companies think about risk, a change in how they compete, and a change in what it takes to succeed in a world where certainty is no longer guaranteed. Because in today's economy, where something is made might matter more than ever before. And that's why Made in America is suddenly a very big deal again.